St. Seraphim Rose gives a concise description of the state of Adam in paradise before his fall. Quote, Adam was immune to the action of the elements to such a degree that water could not drown him, fire could not burn him, the earth could not swallow him in its abysses, and the air could not harm him by any kind of action whatever. Everything was subject to him as the beloved of God, as the King and Lord of creation, and everything looked up to him as the perfect crown of God's creatures. Adam was made so wise by this breath of life which was breathed into his face from the creative lips of God, the Creator and Ruler of all, that there never has been a man on earth wiser or more intelligent than he, and it is hardly likely that there will ever be. When the Lord commanded him to give names to all the creatures, he gave every creature a name which completely expressed all the qualities, powers, and properties given it by God at its creation. Owing to this very gift of the supernatural grace of God, which was infused into him by the breath of life, Adam could see and understand the Lord walking in paradise, and comprehend his words and the conversation of the holy angels, and the language of all beasts, birds, and reptiles, and all that is now hidden from us fallen and sinful creatures, but was so clear to Adam before his fall. To Eve also the Lord God gave the same wisdom, strength, and unlimited power, and all the other good and holy qualities. End of quote from St. Seraphim. I already mentioned before that to some extent in the lives of saints we can see a return to this character of paradise, as when martyrs are tortured and killed many times and come back as fresh as ever. But this is only a hint, only a glimpse of that state which Adam was in permanently. St. Gregory of Nyssa speaks comparing this early state to the angelic state that is to come in the future. Quote, the resurrection promises us nothing else than the restoration of the fallen to their ancient state. For the grace we look for is a certain return to the first life, bringing back again to paradise him who was cast out from it. If then the life of those restored is closely related to that of the angels, it is clear that the life before the transgression was a kind of angelic life, and hence also our return to the ancient condition of life is compared to the angels. End of quote. The image of Adam before the fall is a basic one in Orthodox ascetic literature, because the purpose of struggling is to gain back that state. Actually, to gain back a state which is higher than that, the state which Adam would have attained if he had not fallen. And therefore this image of Adam is a central one in many ascetic writings. For example, Abba Dorotheus, in the very first pages of his book, The Spiritual Instructions, gives this image to inspire strugglers. Quote, in the beginning, when God created man, he placed him in paradise and adorned him with every virtue, giving him the commandment not to taste of the tree which was in the midst of paradise. And thus he remained there in the enjoyment of paradise, in prayer, in vision, in every glory and honor, having sound senses and being in the same natural condition in which he was created. For God created man according to his own image, that is, immortal, master of himself, and adorned with every virtue. But when he transgressed the commandment, eating the fruit of the tree of which God had commanded him not to taste, then he was banished from paradise, fell away from the natural condition, and fell into a condition against nature. And then he remained in sin, in love of glory, and love for the enjoyments of this age, and of other passions, and he was mastered by them, for he became their slaves through the transgression. End of quote of St. Abba Dorotheus. The awareness that Adam's state in paradise was the natural human condition, and the one to which we may hope to return by God's grace, is one of the greatest inspirations to ascetic struggle. This awareness is of most practical benefit to Orthodox Christians to hope to inherit God's kingdom. With the fall of man, paradise ceased to be a reality of this earth and was placed out of our reach. But through the grace of God, made available to Christians through the second Adam, Christ, we may still hope to attain it.